Today we're going to talk about the distributive property. What the distributive property shows is how to multiply a term that is outside of a bracket with a term inside of the bracket. When you have a term and a bracket, it means that you have to multiply. That is the operation given. And therefore you are multiplying this A by this term, which would give you AB, and this A by the C, and that gives you AC. What you have to remember is the signs. That is very important. This is where most students will make mistakes. For example, if I have 2A and then in bracket B minus 3C, I have to remember that I'm multiplying this term, which is a negative 2A, by the B, which makes this negative 2AB. And this is negative 2A times a negative 3C, making it positive 6AC. It's very important to remember that. Now, when you are using the distributive property, what you want to check for afterwards is whether or not you have like terms so that you can simplify. Let's try something a little more difficult. We're going to have 2A times A plus B minus 3A, 2A minus 2B, and then minus A plus B. Now there's a lot to do here because we are going to use the distributive property to multiply. And then we're going to try and see if we have any like terms, because if we do, we're going to try and collect the like terms and add them. So let's start with our multiplication. This becomes 2A squared because A times A squared. This becomes positive because this is a positive plus 2AB. Remember this negative. This means that they're multiplying a negative by a positive, negative 6A squared. Negative by a negative becomes positive 6AB. There's a negative out here. You don't see a number, but even if there isn't a number, the number is always 1 because there is one of these, and therefore you're multiplying by a negative 1. And so it's negative times the A is minus A, negative times the B is minus B. Now we have a large grouping of terms. If there are some that are alike or from the same families, then we must group them together. Let's find out. We'll use a different color so that we can group these together. So we've got the 2A squared family and the minus 6A squared. I like to take the sign with it. This way I know that it's a negative term, and I can just simply add them. I've got then the AB family. We've got one of these here, positive 2AB, and then I have another positive 6AB. And then finally, these two are on their own. Minus A is on its own, and we'll just put some kind of symbol for the minus B. And when you're collecting like terms, try to start with those with the highest degree. Highest degree meaning the highest exponents. And so we can start with the A squared family. 2A squared plus a negative 6A squared becomes negative 4A squared. Then we're going to look at the AB family. 2AB plus 6AB becomes positive 8AB. And finally, there isn't really anything for the A family on its own or the B family, so we will just put these in. Now I can look at these and say, can I do anything else? No, these are all different types of terms, different families. They are not like terms. We cannot add them anymore. This is as simple as it can be, and we are done with this question.